Hi there, Coach Adam here, and today I'm going to talk to you about what is CrossFit. Now, CrossFit was originally designed to optimize the fitness, to get the most fitness for people that had jobs with elements that were potentially unknown or unknowable, such as military, firefighters, police, paramedics, those types of people that you don't always know what you're getting into. So we really wanted to create something that would maximize their ability to adapt to any situation. So really get the best fitness for them. So in order to do that, first what we needed to do was define fitness. And I have done another video about that, so feel free to check out the What is Fitness video, but I'll briefly go over that now. So CrossFit has defined fitness in 3 different ways. 1 with the 10 general physical skills model, 2 with the hopper, and then 3 with the energy pathways. And to sum that all up, what CrossFit has done is they've called fitness work capacity across broad time and modal domains. So, understanding the definition of fitness to be work capacity across broad time and modal domains, a program had to be created to maximize that. So CrossFit came up with a program, and it is defined as constantly varied functional movements executed at high intensity. So now, what does that mean? Let's start with the first piece, constant variance. The idea here is that I don't have a set schedule where every Monday I do back and bis, and Tuesday I do chest and tris, and I never take those movements that I'm doing for those body parts and switch them up. The idea with constant variance is that I'm always changing up the duration, the types of movements, the combinations of movements. I'm not doing this randomly, but I'm planning that I'm always changing it up, so the body is always adapting. If you do the same thing, you get the same results. If you always change it up, the body has to constantly progress to keep up to the stimuli. Now, the second piece of the definition of CrossFit is functional movements. So we're taking functional movements and varying them constantly. But what's a functional movement? That's a term that gets thrown around in the fitness industry a whole lot. Everybody says that they're doing functional movements because that's the craze. Now, what CrossFit has done is we've defined functional movements in a couple of ways. Number 1 is that they are part of humanity. They're movements that we do naturally. If you watch a baby move or a toddler, they use functional movements. They do them well as well. They are things that we do outside of the gym. They're real life movements. But a more precise, objective definition is that they are movements that are unique in their ability to produce power relative to non-functional movements. And power, I'm going to define in the next piece. So the third piece of the definition of CrossFit is high intensity. And I think for the most part outside of CrossFit, that's what people think of when they think of CrossFit, is intense. That being said, intensity needs to be defined, right? We got to define our terms if we're going to have a discussion. So intensity, I think previously has been looked at as, how hard you're working as a subjective measure, or how red your face gets, or how many swear words you say during your workout. But as you've seen so far, that subjective measures are not how we're going to do this. So the objective definition of intensity is it's exactly equal to average power. Now, power is work over time. Average power is how much work you did over a longer period. So, power is defined as work over time. Work is defined as force times distance. So understand force is, say, how much something weighs or how much force required to push it or pull it. Force is the force applied, simple. Distance, how far did the thing move? And then obviously time, relatively simple. So force times distance, the heavier the thing, the more distance equals more work. The shorter the time equals more power. So I'm going to show you 2 examples of movements. The first one will be a non-functional or tricep kickback single joint movement, and the second one a deadlift. And we'll show the difference, we'll do some math there and show you the difference in power between those 2 movements. So here's the example of the non-functional movement. It is a tricep kickback. Range of motion is about 1.5 feet. The weight is 20 pounds, and it took about 17 seconds to do 10 reps. And as you can see by the math, the average power is 1,058 foot-pounds per minute. And here's the functional movement, the deadlift. About 2.5 feet range of motion, 135 pounds on the barbell, and it took 13 seconds to do 10 reps. And when we look at the math for the deadlift, the functional movement, the average power output is 15,576 foot-pounds per minute, just under 15 times that of the kickback. So we've gone over the definition of CrossFit as constantly varied functional movements executed at high intensity. And I think we'd all agree that constant variance kind of makes sense. It's pretty clear. Functional movements, I get, they're human, they're core to extremity, they're compound, and they are unique in their ability to produce power. And then the last piece is the high intensity. And we defined intensity, showed you an example of what power looks like. Now, the question is, why intensity? Because if you've ever done a workout with high intensity, you know that it hurts, it feels bad. It's way more challenging and harder than non-intensity. And the reason that intensity is important, and it may be more important than everything else here, is it's what's going to get you results, right? If you want better blood pressure or bone density or lower triglycerides, intensity is the variable in your fitness that is going to make the biggest difference. So get the intensity up and get your results up. So I hope that was relatively informative, and understanding the definition of CrossFit will allow us to look at our own personal fitness regimens and those of our clients and ask ourselves, am I doing the best for this person? Am I making sure that we're doing functional movements so that they're gaining capacity outside of the gym? Am I making sure that there's some variance in here so that, we're not getting stagnant, we're always getting good results? And am I making sure that there's some intensity? And, personally, knowing that intensity is the most important variable gives me a little peace of mind when I'm stuck in a workout and I'm feeling like I want to slow down because it really hurts. I can tell myself, hey, if I want results out of this, stick with it, and that's what's going to get you the results. Next video, we're going to be talking about technique, so I hope you join it.